Welcome everyone to the Electrical Culture of Safety Livewire program, where we delve into all the complexities of creating a culture of safety within the electric utility industry. In each episode, we feature interviews with subject matter experts, industry leaders, safety professionals, and field personnel from across the industry, where we discuss ways to develop a collective reflection of the perception, attitudes, and shared experiences of the safety culture within our industry. Welcome to ECOS Livewire.
Welcome aboard, folks. We got a special guest here today. Our very own, Bierer Meters' very own plant manager, Mr. Joey Pelletier. Joey, he's been with us for several years now, and he wrote an article. He wrote an article and he sent it to me. I didn't ask him to. He just sent it. He wrote it and sent it to me, and he titled it "Warrior's Journey: Mastering Electrical Safety and Success." And I read it. It was earlier this year. I read it and I'm like, dang, this guy, he's got a story. His Livewire story that he's sharing with you today, he's definitely going to be doing a Lineman Safety National webinar in November. It's so good. And his outlook and the way he approaches safety and teamwork is outstanding. So I'm going to read you his biography for this. It says, "I'm a Midlands graduate with an associate's in electrical engineering. I graduated December 2024. I'm currently the plant manager of Bierer Meters, which is high voltage tool manufacturer. I attended Midlands for about 6 years, taking one class per semester while using the skills from each class to climb the ladder at Bierer Meters. Started off building circuit boards and then got the opportunity to be part of the testing and engineering department. A couple years later, I became the production supervisor, and then the same year after I graduated, got offered the position of plant manager. I've been with Bierer Meters now for 8 years. Wow, 8 years. That's amazing. He's a great guy, and let's welcome Mr. Joey aboard, man. Come on in, Joey.
Hey, Brent.
Hey, sir. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great. Long time no see.
Yeah, it's odd doing a ECOS Livewire, and you're just a few offices down from me.
Yep.
Yeah. So, hey, explain kind of what's going on in that wall behind you. Your certificates and that sword back there. Give us a little rundown on all that.
Yeah, that's my wall of honor back there. I knew once I got an office, I wanted to put up my diplomas and stuff. But I do Yaido, which is a Japanese sword, and I thought it'd be a good spot for it here in my office. That's my very first sword I trained with. I've had that for 15 years, and that thing probably has 300 or 400 hours on it. So it's kind of like a testament of my beginning.
That's awesome.
But a funny story, my martial arts black belt plaques are above my educational diplomas, and jokingly, it's because they were a little bit harder to get than the other ones. So, but they're just a constant reminder of where I've come from and my journey to get here.
Yeah, but that's also a constant reminder if an employee wants to get out of hand, that you can remind them of the sword, right?
Yeah, and I kind of snuck it in. I waited a couple months, and then I just snuck it in because I didn't want to make a scene. But,
so people know that your foundation, you're a person of foundation.
Yeah, you get a better reaction when they walk in and they see it.
Yeah. No, that's cool. I love it. So so man, it's a pleasure working with you and seeing you progress over the last 8 years within Bierer Meters has been incredible. And what you bring to the table and have brought in the evolving, what's really neat is you've taken Bierer Meters and you're helping evolve it into something that's just completely 100% first class organization, and you're a big part of that, and really appreciate that.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Uh, when I think of my journey, I went to college for pre-med, and that didn't work out. And then I switched it over to physical therapy, and that didn't work out. And then I was majoring in biology and philosophy, and that didn't work out. And so it's like you have all those skills, and you want to share that with somebody, and found this company, and I've known the beers actually almost my whole life. I just didn't realize it. I've seen a lot of the devices somewhere in the background, like in middle school and high school, and then
Yeah.
now I'm working here. So
Isn't that crazy?
yeah,
That's one of those fate and destiny full circle type of deals, man.
yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that, man. That's awesome. So Joey, so you sent this article to me near the beginning of this year
Mhm.
that you wrote, and I'll read the title again: Warrior's Journey, Mastering Electrical Safety and Success. And you just plopped this on me, and I read it kind of quick through, and you did a little editing afterwards, and
Mhm.
man, dude, when you gave this to me to read, I was like, oh my gosh, this guy needs to start giving presentations out in the circuit every once in a while in our industry, because it's super powerful. Your effectiveness of bringing that parable, I would call it, this word story of kung fu, and how it applies to team, and how it applies to electrical safety, how it applies to efficiency, production, leadership, communication. It's just, man, this is just powerful, and I want to go over this with you today, some, if that's all right.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Now, question:
Mhm.
When did you write this originally? This thought process, this idea. How long ago?
So now I think if you actually look at the file, it says draft 2,
Okay.
because I was originally writing, because I that's something I do on the side. I write in journals, and I write a lot of things down, and I was kind of just writing a article for myself, and it was originally titled "Living Fundamentally,"
Mm-hmm.
and it was the idea that when you do martial arts for 10 plus years, and you realize it's just your life now. um, there's a saying that the difference between a black belt and the other belts is they never stop doing the fundamentals.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're masters of the fundamentals. And I was already kind of writing this thing, and then I've listened to all your stuff, and some of your other presenters, and it's like we're all talking the same thing.
Yeah.
Like there's so much overlap, and it just kind of reinforces the whole message that you know the lessons I learned in martial arts on face value is just kicking and punching, but there's a development
Mm-hmm.
to yourself and being a good person, and move. I'm not sword fighting anybody in real life, but those lessons you learn from really developing that art, you can bring that to anywhere you go in my job, with your family, all those kinds of things. And I was just writing those ideas down, and you wrote your article, and I was like, it's the same. It's almost the same thing. It's so I just tweaked it a little bit, and
Yeah.
kind of tried to make the lessons I was already writing about, but kind of shift them towards what we do here,
Mm-hmm.
and then kind of thinking how linemen are working out in the field, and it's all the same story,
And
and if you can learn those lessons, then you can take those and build on them, and then take them anywhere you go.
yeah. So let me open this up a little bit. Let me read your first sentence or two, and kind of give the folks the gist of the atmosphere, the environment of your article. And it says, and this is a great way to open up, man. I tell you, it's a grabber. It's a grabber. As the sun rises, cloaked in and coffee still steaming, clocked in and coffee still steaming, I step into the arena, I like that, of my daily battlefield, the work site. My team is already bustling, preparing to meet the diverse and ever changing demand for our electrical safety devices. Each device we handle is a step toward victory. Yet, each moment brings a new metaphorical opponent to challenge our progress. My mind sharpens, alert to subtle shifts in the environment. The hum of machinery, the buzz of conversation, and the occasional spark reminding me that every task carries its own risks. I navigate through the site, my focus unwavering. Wow. I mean, okay, so you're walking in and so give us some of the description. Like, okay, so what does that look like in the morning? What all this looks like?
Yeah, I mean, if you think about all the devices we build, it's very overwhelming. Like we have all these different devices, and I tell the guys it's a Sisyphusian task. No matter how many times we roll that stone up the mountain, it's going to come back down, and we got to be happy to push it back up. But you know, it, it's I think a shift I've done is I've tried to get to where all the techs know how to build everything instead of one tech just building one device. And it's a little bit more chaotic, but it gets everybody involved, and you have to be a good team. You have to be a good team to
You don't have a choice, right?
accomplish, right. And so I it's like I'm always the saying I like to say is I'm always training, because I could only go to class maybe 1 or 2 hours 3 times a week, and I want to train more. Well, I can train here at work, because the same focus you need to learn how to fight people. I mean, I have to have that same focus we got to build this many meters this day. We got to stay on task. We got to build these many devices over here. And that first line, I always chuckle, because we're all big coffee drinkers here. That's like nobody's starting the day. Well, half of us, I'd say, until we get our coffee. So when I first sat down to write it, I had my coffee, and I looked over, and it was steaming. Yeah, and once we get our coffee, we get right to it. There's not a minute goes by that we're actively doing what we need to accomplish.
Yeah, well, that's awesome, Joey. So I'm going to read just a couple more sentences of this first paragraph, because these words are like key. They're totally key. That sets us up for the rest of the article. And you wrote, "My team looks for me for guidance." And this is so important as far as being that leader and that trainer. So I want you all out there in the industry to remember this. Okay, they're looking for that in you. They're looking for that in you, as our team here looks for that from Joey. And my team looks to me for guidance, and I channel the strength of a warrior, embodying the mental fitness to solve problems swiftly, the physical endurance to keep up with the demands, and the spiritual resilience to inspire and lead. So, man, talk about that resilience, because I know you pretty well. I've seen you in the cage, and when you're in the cage, you don't have no rage. But that resilience to inspire and lead. So as a leader, you got to have resilience. You got to be that person that's delivering inspiration. You have to have those two things to be a leader. Talk to us about that resilience and inspiration. Talk to us a little bit about that.
Well, I think I've been lucky with working here at Bierer, is that I got the start from the very bottom. And when I was before I came up to work with production, I was downstairs, and so coming up, I knew there was a lot of different employees, and I knew some of them didn't know who I was when it came to production. But there's that when I came in there, you always want to, there's that saying that you don't want to ask somebody something that you wouldn't do yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And I definitely took that to heart, So I like to say I'm in the trenches, or I like the idea of if you hear the story of the 300 with Leonidas,
Yeah.
he was the first one in the line. Like, he was up there in the front, and I wanted to embody that. It was a great opportunity that I already knew how to build almost all the devices, and instead of just coming up here and just saying you need to do this and you need to do that, it was like, hey guys, get behind me. Let me show you how it's done, in a way, And I kind of because I'm a little bit later in my, not later, but I've been training for a long time. I've gotten to the point where I train others,
Mm-hmm.
and it's pretty hard to tell somebody to do a spinning back front kick and not show them how to do it too. So that way, so I kind of do the same philosophies here, where I love to be hands-on, and even in this, there's little moments where conversations get started, and you feel your phone buzzing in your pocket, and it's those small moments of, hey, let's stay focused. Hey, I got a phone call, but I need to take it later, so let's finish this task. It's those little things like that it builds a small bit of resilience over time, and they see that to get to that level that they'd like to get to, it's not just the title.
Mm-hmm.
It's actual, like, there's a framework of work and a foundation of integrity that you have to withhold for a long period of time.
Yeah, I like you say it. It's not the title like yours. Plant management. My mother said, well, we should call him manager. She actually said that we should call him planet manager. She said that today to me, and that's almost true. But yeah, that's awesome, and I like how you said it's not about the title, but basically, in a nutshell, it's about the deed, about what you do, and that proves the power behind what the title is supposed to be. Where you're not relying on the title to carry you; you're relying on your deeds, your resilience, and your inspiration and leadership skills to prop up the title, not the title propping you up.
Yeah.
So,
But I think a while back, because I know we've gotten some good conversations. It's almost like we should have recorded them before. But the idea that in a school, the teacher doesn't call himself the master.
yeah.
Students call him master,
Mm-hmm.
and that's how he has to earn that title. So I'll probably say it a million times, but I do the same thing. I don't want to be Joey the martial artist and then Joey the plant manager. I'm just Joey.
Yeah.
That way I don't have to, there's that saying that it's hard to, when someone's like a liar, they have to create this whole stories, and they have to make sure they tell the right people and all this stuff. And it's like, if you're an honest, good person, you don't have to shift. I don't have to be 3 or 4 different people.
Yeah.
Just one person, and then the skills that of who you are, you just carry it to whatever place you go.
Yeah. I like that. So authentic, genuine, and that's the attributes and characteristics in order to inspire, in order to lead, and influence our workers that are not under us, but they're part of our team.
Mm-hmm.
Is exactly what you're saying, and that's how you carry yourself. You carry yourself as an equal with everybody in here, and it's a breath of fresh air. You see it and you feel it, and that's talk about honesty. That's the truth, right? You live the truth.
Yeah, right when I got the position, I usually read a lot of like motivational books and just different leadership books. And the one book I read um, was Extreme Ownership, and that's it's a Navy SEAL book, and he was talking about like a Navy SEAL team is not like one leader and then like rank and file, like, you know, you got the top guy and then there's a bottom guy. It's like you got the one guy who's leading the specific task and all the other guys are equals. And when the task requires the expertise of the other one, they shift and there's no ego. And that's the only way to like to get that high level of efficiency and things getting done. That's how you do it. So when I look at the playing field here, it's, and you're trying to, you know, we have a certain number of people who have to build more. There's more devices than there are people.
Yeah.
Like the number of devices. You have I had to make the shift to where we have to do it that way. And to do that, it's when we would get to a device that I'm not very good at, it's like, hey man, you run the show, you know, teach me, and we can all learn it. Because that, I always you'll hear me say ancient Chinese secret, you know, like there's certain devices that have little tweaks and little techniques, and it's like, you know, that's the ancient Chinese secret for that device. And suddenly you can build it in half the time because you just had this little move that somebody figured out, you know, and we had to share it with everybody.
Yeah. So you're developing folks, and you're making it safe for everyone to learn. You're making it safe for everybody to contribute and participate in the team, and open it to their ideas. I hear that a lot with you and with the folks here is they're allowed to share ideas. And hey, if this idea is better than my idea, man, share it. Let's learn from it. Let's create better work methods. Let's create better work procedures, and that's what you allow.
Yeah, because I wrote, before I came to production, I wrote 95% of the procedures, or updated most of them and wrote new ones. And I don't consider myself infallible, so you know, even just the typos. So instead of, when I give somebody a procedure and they would find incorrections in them or typos, I didn't want, you don't take it personally, you know, and it kind of just shows you that of all the time I put into it, that there's still stuff that's missing, or there's still stuff that's wrong, and you need to be able to adapt to that. And yeah, when we find out I kind of wrote the procedures where the steps are slightly vague, to where the technique on how to do certain steps is up to the person. And I've noticed people like that, and because you don't want to tell people exactly, as long as you're achieving the goals, you know, everything's built in the right way. How it's done is really up to them, and that allows them to find some talents, you know, create some opportunities to, like, you know, some guys like to build jigs to help them build stuff, and some guys like to, they come up with tests. And I didn't tell them to do that.
That's but they're free to think like this and share these basically inventions.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's awesome. Let me read this next couple pieces of this next paragraph. It's fascinating. My personal training of now a decade in traditional martial arts has given me the tools to use in everyday life. The same logic of awareness of strikes, defenses, and mental clarity can be reshaped to how I navigate the work site. And this, I didn't know this, what you're about to say here in your article. Even the term kung fu, my primary training, is not limited to just style of martial arts. It directly translated, the term is made up of two characters. The first, and you do the character, I don't know how you did this, but the first character, and this is Chinese, right?
Yeah, Chinese.
Okay.
Yeah.
The first character is Kung, okay, like Kung, and I like this because the letters and the words have meanings. and they do. So, and I think it's important, and it's clever how you brought this up, which means kung means skillful work, hard training or endeavor. The second, fu, and then you see the word here, the symbol behind it, meaning time spent. And what's in right here, what's incredible is it matches, like you said, we say the same thing. Yeah. So I got your electric reality, we got the X and Y axis, right?
Yeah.
And it's the same thing. Work is your X, and then the Y axis is time. And then I did that sine wave, and the sine wave is what I call alternating consciousness.
Yeah.
Not alternating current, but alternating consciousness, which flat matches 100% what you just said here, kung fu. So go over some of that with us, Joey.
Well, and I don't know how the comments will come in, but the story that I've been told is it's always with Bruce Lee, but so when Bruce Lee came to America and was wanting to teach Chinese martial arts, it was actually wushu. Wushu translates to martial arts.
Okay.
So if you go to China and you say kung fu, they're like, yeah, I'm a fisher. Yeah, my kung fu's fishing, or I'm a chef. My kung fu is chef. I'm cooking. But when he came to America and he was trying to teach it, the term wushu did not catch. People didn't, there was karate. It's like a very strong word. It's, wushu, that people think of the opera. There's an opera center in China where they do demonstrations. So he coined the term kung fu or gong fu, depending on like the dialect, and that's what that means. It means something difficult that you do for a very long time.
Oh, interesting.
And so, yeah,
something difficult that you do for a very long time. Dang. Keep going.
Oh yeah. So I mean, I think when I train kids and the kids are like, I can't do this, man. I just can't do this. And usually by this time they can tie their shoes. And I go, next time you tie your shoes, watch your hands. And if you think about it, it becomes natural. When you tie your shoes, it's just you almost can't believe it. If you slow it down, you almost can't do it.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing. Like when you get really good at like just building meters, there's certain things you'll do with your hands, and it's just you can't almost explain it because it's so natural. You've done it so long, and you've just kept working at it. And like when somebody's working on stuff, they're really good with a tool or a hammer, and they just flip it in their hand and catch it every time, or they know how to flick their keys so it gets their
time.
It's like that's kung fu.
That equates basically. That's cool. That basically equates to somebody wiring up a transformer banks, or changing out a transformer or a cross arm. That's their kung fu.
That's their kung fu, and having a word for it, it kind of puts it in existence where you can be proud of the task you're doing. It's almost like there's different ways to train yourself, and one way, it sounds weird, but start watching how you open a door. You don't think about it.
Just pay attention to that. Just pay attention
how you'll probably do it the same way every time, and it becomes seamless. And we always get super focused on tasks like work and stuff, but if you start really just thinking about it and you really develop it, I mean, everything is a skill. Everything. Brushing your teeth is a skill.
Yeah.
How you get dressed in the morning can become a skill, and it makes it to where your whole life is just nothing but training.
Nothing but kung fu.
Nothing but kung fu, and it depending on how ambitious you are,
Yeah.
And I, this came natural to me because watching the linemen get to do the rodeos.
Yeah, you enjoyed that.
They're doing their form. They're doing a form.
I remember you coming back after that International Linemen's Rodeo in Kansas City, and you just you were just beside yourself. You
It was
like see, that makes sense.
yeah, they're doing a kata, or a form.
Yeah.
And it's so cool to see, and especially when it's a team one.
Yeah.
Each guy has their move that they're good at, and it,
Mm-hmm.
and it was funny because when I heard that they raced to do those certain tasks, I was like, wait, isn't this like high voltage? Like, aren't we supposed to be safe? But it's not as fast. Like it's actually done correctly,
Mm-hmm.
efficiently, and instead of, I thought it was going to be like a 10-second race, but a lot of them it was like 20, 30 minutes, and it's like,
Some of them.
make sure the bolt's here, make sure the rubber mat's down, say your commands, all that stuff. So it was really cool to see. It just clicked.
Yeah. Now, that's it. That brings up a point too that might help our industry. Is my little son Jacob? He was in a class, and I think he got a brown belt or something. I don't know, but it was so cool watching him come home and practice his kata.
Mm-hmm.
He would practice his kata. So it's like linemen when they go into training. They're training and they're practicing their kata that they would do in the field, and it's basically right across. It's the same parallel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and like that, like your son, like he may not, he hasn't continued his training. He doesn't do kung fu. He doesn't do probably karate or something.
No, it was. I remember what it was called. Ishinryu. Have you ever heard of Ishinryu?
Ishinryu karate. Yeah, that's a style of karate. Yeah.
Yeah.
But so it's like at that age, the idea that you learn something, and then on your own time,
Yes,
you practice it, and then you see the benefit. That's a skill, and it's the same thing with the lineman. You practice that skill and almost doing it not as a task that you're supposed to do.
mm-hmm.
You learn more when you actively do it on your own. You're genuinely trying to learn it. You're understanding the little minute things, and you get really into it. That's where your brain will it'll grab it, and you'll never forget. You'll learn little parts and pieces of that task that you'll never forget till the day you die. It'll just be in your brain.
That's awesome. So now this is another aspect. This is interesting. So the kata, when you practice your kata, your moves, your turns, and your kicks, and your hits, and everything, you're practicing that kata. And let's equate this to line work. You're practicing that task at your job in our industry as a line worker. You're practicing that kata, but now it's true. Tell me if this is true. When you practice your kata, you practice over and over and over, so every move is right. There's no shortcuts, and you're doing it safely. Is that correct, Joey?
Yeah. Well, I mean, especially with martial arts, I mean, you're practicing them to, like, if you were in a fight, you would naturally do these moves to be safe, right? The katas are always formulated where you throw a punch, and then right after is a block, and then you maybe throw a kick, and you're doing those sequences so that when you're in a situation, you don't have to think about it.
Nice.
Because thinking about it will slow things down.
Yeah.
But you also don't want to become unconscious either.
Right.
It's not, you're not doing it. It's almost like meditation. Mm-hmm. Like meditation, you think it's not doing anything, but it's that you're purposefully not doing anything, and so you're conscious while you're achieving that activity. It's that same thing. You don't want to turn your brain off. You don't want to, because then that's where mistakes come in. You start you start assuming, or you're say this. You don't want to go unconscious.
Yes.
You want
stay alert, stay aware.
there's still a little bit of you in there, but your subconscious is doing a lot of the work for you.
Mm-hmm.
You just don't realize it.
So staying conscious, staying aware, staying alert while you're doing the kata. Everything, there's no shortcut in the kata, and you take that to the field. And again, everybody knows what the next move is supposed to be. So everybody's watching the team. They're watching you do your kata. They know what's going on too. And they see you doing that task. And you're doing that task. You're staying focused. You got 3-point communication. You're calling out. They're answering back. And they're watching you. And they're learning your moves. No shortcuts. They're learning your moves as far as keeping aware, not turning off your consciousness, not talking about different subjects and joking around while you're doing these key specific tasks. Everybody's doing these. So that's basically what you're saying.
Yeah. That when you're in class and your shifu, when you're doing the moves, he's there to correct you on those each spots.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're alone and no one's there to watch you, you need to have a belief that someone is still watching you at all times.
That's awesome. Even if no one is watching you, right, Joey?
Yeah, and that's where that idea of integrity, like that is such. If you can really hammer that skill down, and the problem is a lot of these skills are so abstract.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, I need to be honest, or I need to have integrity, and it's usually like, well, yeah, of course, but if you have to actually work on it,
mm-hmm.
and you may not see those dividends for a while, but if you're doing the small little things, like when I'm doing forms by myself, and I stop, I'm looking in the mirror, and I have to be. If my shifu was here right now, he'd say your stance needs to be lower.
Mm-hmm.
When I do this one move, I like to turn my foot over this way. My shifu, he'd make me do 20 push-ups every time he saw me do that. So
right.
I need to hold myself accountable,
mm-hmm.
and holding myself accountable in the moments where no one's watching, when it's game time, that it's like your foundation is so strong. You will make the right choices.
That's beautiful. So let's go into the 3 pillars of a warrior, Joey. Tell us one pillar, mental fitness. Second pillar, physical fitness. Third pillar, spiritual fitness. So these pillars hold up everything that's going up here. It's like a stool or a chair that we sit in. These 3 pillars are necessary so that we don't topple over, so that we're successful. So talk to us about the mental fitness, physical fitness, and spiritual fitness. Tell us about these.
Well, I know when I wrote it, I put mental first and physical in the middle because, especially with martial arts, it's always everyone thinks physical. You're supposed to be strong, but especially being in like combat sports, like going to Muay Thai gyms and MMA gyms and actually like learning combat, being strong only takes you so far. It's not just a one. You can't just be the strongest person in the gym. There has to be a mental to it as well. You have to be smart. You have to think about it. When you're in there, you have to remember, I have to go to work on Monday.
Mm-hmm.
So I also have a family, and I want to be able to use my brain until I'm 140 years old. So mental, you want to keep all those things in your mind, and to be a whole person and a whole warrior, it can't just be how strong you are all the time. You got it. Mental is also learning. You got to learn more. It never stops. You should actively be trying to learn more, reading, awesome. That kind of stuff. If you're just training all the time and then you're watching Netflix all the time,
right?
Training your brain. I mean, you're only going to go so far. And the spiritual one is definitely key as well, because at least with the samurai, if you think about their 400 years of war, they about halfway through they got super religious because times were real tough, and if you think about PTSD and all this stuff forming, like there was something missing, and it was something bigger than yourself. They did Shin Buddhism, but in general, you having that higher power, having that um, it it puts you a hold of something. It's not about you all the time.
Mm-hmm.
There's a greater journey. There's a greater purpose that you need to let happen, and you need to accept it. And
Nice.
and those three things, if you try to look at just really successful and really well, like the best known martial artists, you think about the best CEOs,
Mm-hmm.
they all work on their physical. They're always learning. That all the richest billionaire CEOs, they read multiple books a year at least.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of them are spiritual. A lot of them believe in something.
Yeah.
Something supernatural, whatever it is, because this is not our world. You know what I mean? Like we're not the center of the universe.
Yeah.
Like and I have to be a servant to something greater than myself, and that humbles you, and it puts you in perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Just when you have all three of those, you'll find that life is great.
Yeah.
The journey you're on, it becomes successful in that fashion.
Yeah. And that also going back to your electric reality, that alternating current sine wave, that's how you gain that upper hand to where you're above the zero crossing, and you're living your life in the crest where you are successful and happy, and you work as a team. And that's exactly what you're saying. You have a great positive attitude, and everybody sees it. It's infectious, and it creates an atmosphere to where everybody that's around you is maximized for that success. Like what I see here, Joey, with what you do.
Yeah, I mean, you could teach somebody how to build a super complicated device, but if they're not enjoying it, if there's not a good attitude, and like you make the task so difficult that
Mm-hmm.
they're happy to go home at the end of the day. It's not just about money. It's not just about completing a deadline. There is also that holistic view that
Mm-hmm.
we all love working here, and that's part of it. We love working here, and we love talking about the devices. We talk about other things too, but there's almost like I know you've heard me say that, like, I have a favorite resistor here.
Yeah.
I have a favorite meter here. I have my least favorite meter here. And that's funny to talk about too. There's, you gotta, it's not just always about just the task itself. There's a whole holistic view on it.
That's awesome. So, hey, you got a story in here, and this is cool. Explain this story here, this allegory. Better to be made of stone than look like stone. Dude, come on, man. Share that with us.
So it's pretty common, like if you especially watch like old kung fu movies, there's that the monk who he always has the saying, right? So my first shifu, he used to joke around. He's like, you guys need to come up with a saying, like you need a saying that you use in your training and you use it in life. And that's the one I came up with. Is better to be made of stone than look like stone. What's nice about kung fu is all walks of life do kung fu. There's different ages. Sometimes when you go to like a boxing gym, the only people that are there, I mean, they're just all rugged. They're super strong. They look the part, right? Sometimes you go to a traditional martial arts school, you'll see a guy and he's the nicest guy. He's got the dad bod, and when you spar him, he throws you across the room. He cracks a rib, and it's that lesson. It's like he's made of stone. You don't have to look like stone. And that whole message is, it's putting in the work. It's setting your foundation, like what you actually are. Looks aren't everything.
Yeah.
And the saying that comes from that one is, pressure makes diamonds. So, that's kind of like a subset of that saying. But in a leadership role, if the pressure hits and you're not made of stone, you haven't done the personal development of yourself, then you're gonna crack, and the others are gonna see that. So I had to put that saying in there. That's my all-time favorite.
Oh, dude, that rocks. And everything that has to go with that is be made of stone and don't look like a stone. I mean, man, talk about equating that to line work as well. That is a perfect fit. A lot of these guys, they work out, and a lot of these line workers, man, dude, they freaking are like built bodybuilders, some of them, and I mean, they're just big, beefy guys. And I tell you what, some of those guys, they may be the guy that everybody admires. Oh, he's the best line worker in on our crew, but is he the safest? Is he doing his kata without any shortcuts? And that this is what a stone, to me, to be the stone, is when you're doing those tasks. You're not taking those shortcuts. You're watching out for one another. That's part of it as well, as far as team. And so to be that stone, not look like a stone, to me, that equates to the line work of those guys that are watching out for one another and doing their tasks properly. That's actually being the stone, not necessarily looking like a stone. Right?
Yeah, and smooth. I think smooth is fast, and fast is strong. It's like it's not about how fast you can do everything all the time, but what you will find, if you do it correctly and really well, and then you have a team that can also do it really well and safe, then it's gonna be fast, relatively speaking. And it sometimes it's, we have a lot of checks on what we do. There's a lot of testing that happens, and sometimes it might seem trivial, but man, when something goes wrong, you're wasting hours and hours just to fix it. When if you just would have been in your low stance and you did the form properly, maybe if you're walking by, one guy's 4 steps ahead, but the guy who's doing it at a good steady pace, who's doing everything on spot, it gets done and there's no issues, and he actually got it done faster in a sense. But it's always about speed all the time. And I think that's just, I think it goes along with people want that real fast response of getting things done, instead of maybe looking more of a big picture. And those shortcuts, they will add up over time.
Yeah,
it will break the rock will crack eventually.
There you go.
Yeah,
that's awesome. So you have this other one that's very intriguing, and it's called Empty the Cup.
Yeah,
Come
I love
on,
that.
Joey. Tell us about Empty the Cup, buddy.
Well, that one's, and life teaches you these lessons. But when I lived in Johnson City for a while, and I got 2 black belts, I had won 4 or 5 fights. I was technically undefeated. I had 1 draw, but we won't go into that. And when I came here, I had to start over. I remember going to a different kung fu school, and they hand me a white belt, and I didn't tell them about my past, because you don't want to go into a place. It's like going to a new employer. You don't go in thinking you know everything, right? Even if you might know some of those things. And my first teacher, that was something he always talked about, was emptying the cup. And even when you drink your tea, there's that little bit of residue. When you go into a situation where you're about to learn something, or somebody above you is going to be teaching, you need to take a paper towel and you need to clean that thing out, because the lessons are sometimes people focus too much on the individual task. Where do I put this bolt, or where does this gasket go? But maybe it's that you watch the leader and you see how he puts it in, or when something messes up, how does he think about fixing the problem? It's like, if you go into that opportunity and you're like, all right, I know I need to do this. All right, I put the screws in here. You're missing all this stuff that it's gonna slump your growth over time. And I think it also, what I write in there is that it builds your relationships as well, because if you start from nothing,
Mm-hmm.
you'll build that relationship and you'll maybe understand why they taught in that way, or they'll learn something about you. And I mean, if you think about it just as a skill base, I mean, how nice would it be that you're teaching somebody and they're really humble and they're really respectful, and they teach you the task and they go, you know what, I've actually done this for 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for teaching me. And then they can do that skill how you want it, and they can do it faster or more efficiently than you would imagine. But if you come in with an ego and you try to pretend like you know more than what you think you do, you're going to miss out on opportunities. You don't want to
Yeah.
miss out on those things. So empty your cup. It's a Chinese saying. It's like,
No, I love it.
usually like the teacups, like with hot tea.
Yeah. Yeah.
So empty that cup, spill it out. Get
Like
started
it.
over.
And that should be our attitude on the job site, with our families, in relationships. Just give it the max, man. Right?
Mhm.
I
Yep.
like that, Joey. So let me read this part of it, um, as far as how this relates. In hazardous jobs, constant focus on safety is paramount. Following procedures does not mean lowering your guard, like in fighting. Staying diligent and focused on safety ensures that everyone can work at a high level and go home safe. No one anticipates accidents, but the reality is that they can occur in a blink of an eye. Maintaining a constant state of awareness and readiness is not merely a suggestion, it is the necessity. Dude, you should be a writer, by the way.
Oh, yeah. My wife she'd like to hear that, because she does she actually does write, and she helped me with this. So
Oh, I believe it. I
I'll
believe it's tell her it's, man,
yeah,
this is beautiful.
yeah.
Um, so so you also wrote the conclusion. So you opened up with the coffee, the hustling, bustling, the smells, the light, and so it captures us. But I want to read some of this conclusion and have you comment on this, because the conclusion is, you bookended it. This whole warrior thing, you bookended it so beautifully, and basically, it's the conclusion. And the path of the modern warrior, whether in the dojo or on the work site, is one of perpetual growth, resilience, and vigilance. By embracing the principles of mental, physical, and spiritual fitness, we elevate not only our own capabilities, but also the strength and cohesion of our teams. And man, if we would just realize that, man, and the challenges we face are not merely obstacles, but opportunities to refine our skills and reinforce our commitment to safety and excellence. And I'll just read this last part. As professionals in the electrical field, we must embody the warrior spirit every day. Always protect yourself. This is more than just a rule. It is a mindset that ensures we return home safely to our loved ones. Let us carry this warrior uh, ethic with us, transforming each day's work into a testament of our dedication, strength, and unwavering resolve. Together, together. I like how you look this last sentence, Joey. Together. See this right here. You bring it all together. Together, that means team. As modern warriors, we forge a path of integrity and excellence, illuminating the way forward for ourselves and those who follow. So, in other words, together, what you're saying here in your article, that we are like beacons of light, we shine the light, and when we're finished here, that legacy that we live, others will follow behind and do the same thing. That's embodiment, man.
Yeah, and it it's like almost a personal goal of mine. Just because with martial arts and how it's like you almost want to become a legend,
Mm-hmm.
right? And the only way to become a legend is either you have some great story about yourself, or what if you create just a way of being that other people would like to do.
Mm.
And that's kind of all that last part is just, it's when everyone wants to be a warrior, it's everyone watches action movies, and
Mm-hmm.
you think of the warriors in the Old Testament and stuff, and
Mm-hmm.
it's something that people desire to be. And the only way to actually that warriors are, maybe except for the military, like warriors are seen as like a fictional thing, but there is a modern way of doing it. And the only way it only gets exponentially better the more people that are on that same path. And when you see it, and it's like with your alternating consciousness, when you're in that positive peak of the wave, everyone wants to be there. Everybody,
Mm-hmm.
even the naysayers, they want to be there. And um and it's great being there. So and I know how you think. And like once you're there, you want other people with you.
Mm-hmm.
And if we're all there, everyone's going to be better off for it. So that's kind of how that all kind of comes together, where
Yeah. That. So basically, the end result is not the end. The end result of creating and that's where that I call it creating a line legend, where
Mhm.
Kung is the work you do, Fu is time spent. So we have to work, time spent. We got to do all that, and we have that alternating conscious to the end of our time.
Mhm.
But when we form what you're saying, when we form that line legend, what happens is our line legend lives on. Others gravitate to that, others grasp a hold of that, and they become ambassadors.
Mhm.
They become ambassadors, and their testament of that line legend that you shared, they grab a hold of it. And like you said, it becomes that beacon, and that legend together, it, others follow. It never stops. Your
Never stop.
body, you stopped here being in your body, but your legend you left, your legacy, your line legacy keeps going.
I mean, we're only here for a short period of time, and why not be a person that might be admired 800 years from now?
Mm.
There's plenty of examples of great people who thousands of years ago they're still talking about them.
Mm-hmm.
And why not try? Why not try?
Yeah, I like that.
It's the trying to just be a good person, and so well in work and in life and your family, that you turn into a legend. There's not a cost benefit.
Yeah,
If you holistically just try to do well, if you don't become a legend, well, it was a great journey. You had a great time, I would imagine. So why not? It's at that part where it's not a choice. It's a necessity. It is the way.
man.
Um, and once you pick a way, and people start seeing that, they start questioning how you do it. And it sometimes it's just these vague answers of why I really work on my integrity. I really work on my honesty. I try to be genuine, and there's not an answer to it. And a story my teacher here tells me is, a student can come in and he's like, I want to learn the greatest technique ever, or the greatest form. And he's like, all right, I'll teach you, but it doesn't matter because you're not going to practice it. So I can teach you all the moves, and I can teach you the greatest technique that will work 90% of the time. But if you don't go home and practice it and put in that same amount of time that the person did who made it and created it, sure, I'll show it to you, but are you going to do it? Like, you got to do it. It's, if you want that goal, if you want that accomplishment, there is a pathway there, and it's just a long journey, but it's such a short period of time. Why not try it out?
Man, yeah. So you go from, and this is how we get the buy-in, Joey. You go from, I have to learn Kung Fu, because we all do. We all have to work, and we all have to put in our time. So no matter what, we have to learn and do Kung Fu, no matter what our job title is, as you said.
Yeah.
So how do we get the buy-in? The buy-in is when we can get the folks around us inspired to where we don't command and control that they have to do Kung Fu, but we inspire them and in a positive manner and demonstrate it through our own lives, that they get to the point where they leave their home and they're thinking as they go to work, I get to do Kung Fu.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. It's if you look at all the greatest leaders, they're often inspirational, almost all the time. And it's almost like it's not that when you make it, but there is a certain level of there's a certain lifestyle you'll create when you kind of find this way, that it just happens. You just because it's almost like what if there was the lottery numbers, like if the lottery numbers were somewhere and then you found it and then you got the payout. Well, what if it was there all the time, and you would want to tell other people, right? It's almost like that. It's like you get to a point where you just want other people there with you, and you have to inspire them, and it just almost comes naturally, the inspiration, because when you're at that peak of that sine wave, it kind of just it comes out of you. So
yeah, well,
it's a job.
Joey, wonderful job, man. I know a lot of folks are going to get so much value from your wisdom and your Kung Fu wisdom, man. And it goes back to that song back in the 70s. Everybody was Kung Fu fighting, and that's the goal, man. That's the goal. We got to have that buy-in where everybody is Kung Fu fighting, and you do such a great job to inspire and lead. And I personally want to thank you, and I know a lot of other folks are going to be thankful for your words today, and appreciate everything, man.
I appreciate you. It's easy working at such a great company like this one. So thank you. So thank you, guys.
Yeah, man. Thank you, Joey. Bless you, brother.
Bless you too.